Good evening, everyone. Faculty, staff, proud family, friends, and most importantly, to the graduating class of 2026. Wow, standing here today feels unreal because not too long ago, I was sitting exactly where you are. In 2012, as co-salutatorian of my class, I sat in those same seats, probably the same chairs too. With the same pressure, with the same questions running through my mind, like, what's next? Am I really ready? Can I really do something bigger? As I pondered those questions, I thought about my 18-year-old self and what I would say to her if I was ever allowed the opportunity. There are a few things I would tell her, but before I get into that, let me take you back to my senior year in high school. My senior year, I made a decision that changed everything. I was out one night at a party, and I got into an accident that resulted in me breaking my foot. That may seem insignificant to you, but it was life-altering for me. At the time, I was starting point guard and a 5-time defending state champion in the 100 and 200 meter dash. And just like that, my season was over. State championship opportunity, gone. Scholarships, out the window. And the worst part, I felt like I had let everyone down. I felt defeated, embarrassed, lost. And in that moment, I had two choices. I could sit in that loss or I could pivot. And that's the first thing I would tell my 18-year-old self, is to learn how to pivot. Learn how to change directions quickly and adjust accordingly. Because life is not always going to go how you planned it. Actually, most of the time, it won't go as planned. See, the plan you have right now, it might change. But when the plan changes or doesn't go your way, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're being redirected for something better. That injury didn't end my story. It changed my story for the better. At the time, I didn't know what was next. All I knew was I had to make a decision. And that leads me to the next thing I would tell my 18-year-old self, is to develop your drive. Because nobody is going to push you every day. Nobody's going to wake you up and keep you going. You're going to have to find something within yourself that keeps you moving when everything says stop. After that foot injury, there were no scholarships, no guarantees. So I had to make a choice to get up. And I walked onto a Division I track team with nothing promised, everything to be earned. Every practice, every opportunity, until one day, it paid off. And after just one season, I earned a track scholarship at the University of Southern Mississippi. And I'm telling you this for one reason, to show you what's possible. Where I am right now is achievable, not because I'm special, not because of where I'm from, but because I made a decision to keep going, even when life didn't go my way. I had to learn to motivate myself, push myself to the limit, and through that experience, I was building my drive. And I realized something along that journey. Greatness is in me, and greatness is in you too. But it's up to you to develop the drive to bring it out of yourself. But the lesson didn't stop with sports. It showed up again later in life, just in a different way. After graduating college, I was making pretty good money, but I felt unfulfilled in some ways. There was a time I wasn't on a stage like this. I was in a tiny house in a small town in Alabama with a few shirts and a vision for a clothing line. Nobody could fully see it. No team, no budget, no guarantee it would even work. Just me showing up every single day, working my 9 to 5, then coming home, printing shirts, packaging orders, learning, failing, and trying again. No cameras, no applause, no validation, just discipline. And over time, that small beginning grew into something much bigger than I could have ever imagined. From that tiny house in Alabama to building a clothing brand that's done over $1 million in sales, to now having a full headquarters and a team depending on me every single day. And the lesson in that is, what you're willing to do in private when nobody's watching is what shows up in public for the world to see. Finally, the thing I would tell my 18-year-old self is to keep God first. There were times when I thought I made all these decisions and accomplishments on my own, but I did not. I was able to pivot and develop my drive, all because of my growing relationship with God. It was in those moments that God was guiding my steps, showing me there is a better plan that included a lot of pivots. But as long as I walked with Him, I'll always get to my destination. So if I could leave you with anything today, it would be these 5 things. 1, dreams without goals are simply just dreams. Everybody has dreams, but goals require action. Goals require sacrifice, goals require discipline. And discipline leads to consistency. But let me be real with you. Consistency is not giving 100% every single day. Some days you're at 100, and some days all you got is 20. But consistency means this. Whatever you have that day, you make sure you give it your all. Number 2, learn how to pivot. Because life will not go as planned. But just because it didn't go your way doesn't mean it's still not working in your favor. Number 3, develop your own drive. Because there will be seasons where nobody is clapping for you. Nobody is pushing you. And in those moments, it's just you and your discipline. Number 4, don't confuse movement with progress. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're going anywhere. You can run in place and still end up in the same spot. So be intentional. Make sure your effort has direction. And lastly, and most importantly, keep God first. Because there will be moments you don't understand, moments that feel like losses. But in reality, you're being prepared. So pray again, and then pray some more. And don't just ask God for things, thank Him. Even when you don't understand it just yet. A great mentor of mine once told me something I'll never forget. What a tragedy it is to believe in a big God and settle for small dreams. So class of 2026, let me ask you something. When life doesn't go how you planned it, who are you gonna be? When things fall apart, are you gonna just sit in it, or are you gonna rise to the challenge? Because your story, it won't be perfect, but it can be powerful. So learn how to pivot, develop your drive, stay disciplined, take calculated risks, always be intentional, trust God through it all, and build a life that once felt impossible. And always remember this, the life you want is on the other side of the choices you make. And never forget, where you start does not determine where you finish. Congratulations, class of 2026. Go be great, and don't come back the same. Thank you.